Howdy guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Makayla and today I'm going to be giving you spring book recommendations as well as telling you what's on my spring TBR. So we have a lot of books to talk about, so we're just gonna jump right into it. Starting out, I'm going to do a rapid fire recommendation list of books that I think that lend really well to reading, specifically in the spring. There is a whole host of books that I wanted to include in this, but they're more set in summer. So I am not gonna include them in this video, but I might make a video in a few months that's a summer version of this video. So comment down below if you would like to watch that here in a few months. Starting out, we have all of Miss Emily Henry's books. I think each book brings something different to the table, and they're all really good to read in either spring or summer, or just any time of the year really. But I have enjoyed reading all of these in the spring or the summer, and like I said, each one brings something a little bit different. If you haven't read these yet, one, what are you doing? But two, they're so amazing, and I cannot recommend these ones enough. Then I have The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This one is so beautiful. It has kind of a more literary fiction writing style. There's a little bit of magical realism. It's a romance. It is so beautiful. I read this in a little over a day, and it is a quick, easy fly through. This is one of my favorite books that I've read so far this year. And if you're wanting just a silly little YA romance, I think Better Than the Movies by Lynn is perfect for that. It's kind of a book that you can binge, and it is just short and sweet, really easy, fun romance to read in the springtime. Shifting gears away from romance a little bit, I have The Wedding People by Alison Espach. This is a literary women's fiction book. I will say, it does talk a lot about self-harm and suicide, and that is kind of a main plot point within this book. So if you're uncomfortable with that, I wouldn't recommend picking this up, but I think it was a really fun read. I just read it a few weeks ago, and I thought it was really beautiful. The writing style isn't going to be for everyone, but I thought it was really fun, and I would recommend people picking this up if it's something that they are interested in. Then I have Five Survive by Holly Jackson. This is a thriller horror novel, and it's set during spring break. A group of friends get stuck in an RV in the middle of nowhere where someone's shooting at them, and they have to figure out why someone's trying to kill them. And it was so suspenseful, a super quick, easy read. I read this in a singular day, and it's one you are not going to want to put down once you pick it up. Then I have All Good People Here by Ashley Flowers. This is another mystery thriller. It's kind of a true crime documentary style book, and it was really fun. It kept me on the edge of my seat, and I flew through this. It's on the shorter side, so you could really read this in a singular day, and it's just another good thriller recommendation for this time of year. Then I have Assistant to the Villain by Nicole. This is a silly little lighthearted fantasy, so it's not super in-depth, and I loved the characters, the dialogue, and it was just really lighthearted. So it's not a full-blown fantasy series. It is just really lighthearted, so I think it works perfect to reading it in the spring if maybe you're missing a little bit of the fantasy aspect of reading, so would highly encourage picking up this one. Then we have The Perfect Couple by Hilderbrand. This is a little mystery style book where the morning of a wedding, the maid of honor is found murdered, and it is such a fun time. It's a whodunit, and you're going through all of these different characters trying to figure out who it is, and I thought it was really fun. It is a little bit thicker, but it keeps you on the edge of your seat, and I really enjoyed it. Would highly recommend picking this up, especially if you haven't picked up Hilderbrand before. She has a huge backlist of books, so maybe if you like her writing, then you unlock a whole host of books that all are kind of set in spring and summer. So really would recommend The Perfect Couple by Hilderbrand. My final recommendation for spring reads is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. This is a general fiction novel about two video game designers that go through college and grow up together and create these games, and it is a really good time. It is well loved, and I think it's a perfect book that if you're wanting something a little bit different, just general fiction, this is a great one to pick up. It's very fast paced, and again, would highly recommend this one. These were, oops. That concludes all of the books that I'm recommending for this video, and now we're going to talk about what is specifically on my spring TBR. This is just books that are on my physical TBR. I do have some on Kindle Unlimited and on my Kindle that I'm looking at to read, but these are just ones that I physically own that I do want to read in the next few months, and it's a wide range of genres. I will preface that I have been really interested in reading different genres and trying to expand my reading taste, so we're just going to jump right into it. First up, I have Circe by Madeline. This is a Greek mythology retelling. It is the same author that wrote Song of Achilles, which is a really popular book. So I actually just got the audiobook for this on Audible, so I am starting to read this right now actually, and I'm super excited because it is well loved, and it was actually gifted to me because they loved it so much and they wanted me to read it, so I am finally tackling this beast and reading Circe. Then I have A Perfect Equation by Elizabeth Everette. This is a little historical romance with a little bit of a STEM aspect. It's about women's in the 1800s 1800s that are breaking societal norms to try to train to become mathematicians. It's just a silly little romance that I randomly found one day on Pango Books. I'd never heard of it or seen it before, but I just love a good little STEM silly romance. So I think this will be a perfect spring book to filter in between some of these deeper books that I have on my spring TBR. So I will let you know how this is and if I recommend it, but we have a perfect equation. I have The 5-Star Weekend by Elin Hilderbrand. Her books are so amazing because they are general fiction, but a lot of them include kind of a mystery slash thriller aspect, and I really love that. And all of her books are kind of set in the spring and summertime, and I bought this at the end of last summer, and I've saved it to read once springtime came around. So I'm super excited to finally get into this one because it's always sounded so interesting, and I actually fell in love with Elin Hilderbrand's writing with The Perfect Couple that I recommended last summer. So super excited for The 5-Star Weekend. Then I have I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman. This is a dystopian fiction novel about women that are trapped in an underground cellar and their bid to escape and figure out life and everything like that. I got recommended this off of a TikTok, and it was kind of a video that said books that every woman should read, and it sounded super interesting when I looked it up, and it is really short, so I think it's going to be a quick, easy read to throw in here. Like I said, I'm really trying to expand my genre taste, and I think this is going to be a good one to kind of expand into a different genre that I don't really touch on a lot. So we have I Who Have Never Known Men. I have The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. This is a mystery slash thriller set at a summer camp, which this one's technically summer, but I'm going to let it slide. It is a lot thicker than most of the other books that I have on my TBR, so I wanted to put it in spring so that I can slowly start it, but I've heard mixed opinions about this book, so I'm interested to actually pick it up. It's a mystery thriller, and we shall see if I end up liking it. But we have The God of the Woods. And I have P.S. I Hate You by Lauren Connoly. This is about two exes that end up traveling the world together, and it's just a little romance, and I think it's going to be super fun. I got it through Book of the Month, and it sounded super interesting. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it, so I'm interested to pick it up finally, and I'm super excited. I saved it for spring slash summer just because it gave those vibes to me, so finally going to pick up P.S. I Hate You. Then I have The Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison. This is a horror novel, actually, and it's about a girl who ends up leaving the religious following that she grew up in her family, but her family still does follow it, and she kind of got ousted by them. But then she gets invited to a wedding of the family, and weird stuff starts happening, and it is a horror novel, so I'm really excited. I have had my eye on this book for so long, and I finally pulled the plug and bought it, and I do love a good horror novel, so I'm super excited to see how I like this one. And again, I've never really heard a lot of people talk about this one, so I'm super excited to pick it up, and maybe I can convince other people to read it if I do like it. So we have The Black Sheep. And then the final book that is on my spring TBR is Lovely War by Julie Berry. This is a historical fiction. I just started reading the historical fiction genre and fell in love with it, so I'm really excited to give this book a try. I got the recommendation from Destiny Sidwell. She read this quite a while ago and recommended it, and I'm really excited because I've only really read Kristen Hanna, so I'm excited to see another author and start exploring the genre more, because I have kind of stayed streamlined to one author, so I'm excited to explore more and get out of my comfort zone. So this is my very diverse spring TBR. There are some new releases that I'm really excited for that I will be reading in spring, like Emily Henry's new release, Abby Jimenez's new release, Ashley Flowers is releasing a new book. So there are books that I will read outside of this list, but this is just kind of a general list that I'm going to try to stick to and get through my physical TBR. I have a lot of really exciting things coming up in the springtime, and I can't wait to film videos for it. But thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below, one, if you want to see a summer version of this video here in a few months, and also what's on your spring TBR. And I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!